Okay. I think we are ready to go. I know some people are still kind of trickling in. So while they do, I like to start on time. So I'll just get to all the intro stuff that a lot of people don't mind if they miss anyway. So thank you so much for being on today's webinar. This is the 4 most powerful Facebook advertising tools marketers aren't using. Really, really happy to have you on today. So, really quick, all about me. Um, I love to bring this up. It's almost always one of the first things I bring up. One of my claims to fame. I worked for the NBA for a while, not as a player, unfortunately. It's actually kind of a different past life now at this point. But the reason I was bringing it up is because back then, and this was way back in 2007, was my first exposure to Facebook and my first exposure to Facebook marketing. So we, as the NBA, partnered with Facebook to create an app. This is before you could do your own. It's crazy. And I was one of the first, if not the first, admins of the first Facebook group. That was before they had pages. So that's how long ago it was. Real quick, let me know if you have any audio problems. I did do a test before we started, and it sounded like everything was good. But just give me a shout, and I'll see if there's anything else I can do. I did start my own biz at the end of 2011, where essentially it was just my website, blogging like crazy, making money through my website, doing some consulting gigs, and then at the beginning of this year, I was named to Social Media Examiner's top 10 social media blogs of 2013. So really, really awesome. I mean, that's brought on all kinds of opportunities. And then me personally, if you know anything about me, baseball, my boys. Father of 3 boys. I'm an obsessed baseball and Brewers fan. Unfortunately, the Brewers part not doing very well. Also, very passionate coach. Coach both my older kids, and I guess that kind of carries over to some of the coaching I do, consulting and Facebook wise. And I love stats, and I think this is why I enjoy what I do with Facebook marketing because I also wrote a post about this within the last few months about the money ball of Facebook stats because there's certain stats I know we spend way too much time obsessing over, and there are other stats that we don't pay enough attention to. So there's definitely carryover between those two. All right, 1 second. So what are we going to cover today? The power of Facebook ads. Uh, love Facebook ads. It's just amazing things you can do with them. We're going to get into the 4 most powerful tools that I love and use, which are conversion tracking, conversion specs, custom audiences, and the new Facebook ads reporting, which is incredible. And of course, at the end, we'll get to a sweet little offer. 1 second. Okay. So how do I roll? Lots of text. Sorry, but I'm not a designer, not a photographer. I don't like stealing photos and images, but I'll keep it short. I use the text here not to read to you and bore you. A lot of it's just me talking about the stuff I know and love. So I'll try to keep it as interesting as I can. I know there's a fine line between interesting and corny, so I try not to be corny. And then, but no one shall sleep. Feel free to ask me questions throughout. I keep that open. However, unless it's something I can handle right away, I'll get to it at the end. Um, and then it will be recorded. Many people ask me that. Is this going to be recorded? Yes, it is. Okay, so the power of Facebook ads. Really, there's no better way to target either your current customer or ideal customer than on Facebook. Everybody's there, or almost everybody, not everybody, but just the type of data available to us to target those people is just insanely good. I mean, just a few examples. Some of these are going to be reflected in what we're going to talk about today, but not all of them. I mean, that just goes to show you how deep it is. I had to limit it to 4. But targeting your offline customers, yep, that's custom audiences. We'll talk about that. Targeting based on buying histories and lifestyles. It's kind of insane idea. Like based on people, like the car they own, the house they own, how much it's worth, whether they buy kids' foods. That's all partner categories. We're not even going to talk about it today. Retargeting of website visitors. So once someone visits your website, you can serve them an ad on Facebook, even in the news feed, regardless of whether or not they're fans. That's FBX. We're not even covering that today. Tracking and optimizing for conversions. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Optimizing for specific actions like conversions. We're going to talk about that. So just to overwhelm you intentionally, like I sat down and started thinking about, what am I going to talk about today? There's just so many things, so many tools and features associated with Facebook advertising that we could talk about. And you probably come away with it looking like this. That's my 5-year-old. He loves photo ops. So I wanted him to give me a face that he's frustrated and confused. And this is it. So essentially, often, why aren't you doing these things on Facebook? It's because it's too much. So what people end up doing is they do the boost post, which, guys, please stop doing the boosted post thing. You want to promote posts, but through Power Editor. It's a whole nother story. But so we end up scraping the surface of what can be accomplished. So you got one group of people who says Facebook advertising either doesn't work or limited possibilities because you're scraping the surface. And the other group, it's just overwhelmed and you don't know where to start. So that's why I wanted to have this webinar to simplify, make it easier, and at least tell you, well, this still might be a lot to take in. For these 4 things, I want you to focus on because they're amazing. So those 4 powerful tools. 1, conversion tracking, and we'll talk about what these all are and what they mean and everything else. 2, conversion specs. 3, custom audiences. 4, Facebook ad reports. Okay, before we get to the first one, how about a quick poll here? So, are you using conversion tracking? Heck yes. What in the world is that? Give me a quick break here. Still getting some votes. That's good. Okay. Share these results. 31% heck yes. 69% what in the world is that? That's a good sign. It means we're going to tell you something new, at least for 69% of you. 31%. Hang tight. We'll get to some other great stuff. Okay. So, conversion tracking. What is conversion tracking? Tried to limit it to as few words as possible, explain it, but it's tracking and optimizing for an off-site conversion. Okay, so that's you've got an ad that's driving people from Facebook to your website in an effort to sell something, getting them to submit information, subscribe to your email list, sign up for your webinar, all on and on. And you can then track these things and optimize for that action. So tracking, you can track how many people clicked on or looked at your ad and then bought or submitted or registered. So pretty powerful stuff. Otherwise, you're just looking at clicks and other things. But it's really good for tracking purposes. And then you can also track the cost of your ad versus the direct revenue. And one nice thing that I'm not even going to get into today is that you can assign a conversion value. So within your reports from Facebook, it actually show you the conversion value that you've gotten out of this ad or this campaign and the amount of ad spend. So then you're looking at true ROI. But it's also about optimizing. So when you use conversion tracking, you optimize to reach users most likely to perform your desired conversion. So when you set it up, and we'll get into that process here in a minute, you choose a type of conversion you want to optimize for. And Facebook, whenever Facebook uses optimized CPM, understand the CPM itself, the cost per 1,000 impressions, is going to be higher because it's more efficient, because Facebook's optimizing to reach people most likely to perform a desired action. So in this case, they've got all this data on people based on advertisers who have used conversion tracking before to say this person's likely to do a registration or a lead or buy as a result of clicking on your ad, so they can then optimize. So types of conversions you can optimize for: you got checkouts, registrations, leads, key page views, adds to cart, and other conversions. So checkouts, adds to cart, two different things. Because adds to cart, you don't necessarily complete the conversion. Checkouts, you do. And also note that not all these lead to direct revenue, and that is why you need to use this. Not, you got to get out of the frame of mind that you only use it for things where you're selling something. Really, anytime anyone's providing information. So why should you use it? Really, if you aren't tracking your conversions when you're driving people to perform some type of action, you're just guessing. I mean, when you're looking at the success or failure of an ad, you're looking at the number of clicks, you're looking at the cost per click, you're looking at the cost per impressions, and those things don't necessarily mean anything. And you're also probably looking at, okay, did I have a spike in conversions when I ran this ad? But you're guessing. You don't know for sure. And with conversion tracking, you know. So when should you use it? Whenever you're creating an ad that's leading to a product landing page, email newsletter sign up page, lead generation page, contact form, or anything that requires visitors to submit. Now, the common retort is, but John, I use tracking links. And what this means is they use tracking links so they know when they've gotten a conversion, it came from a Facebook ad. That's fine. It's better than nothing. But understand, when you do that, you don't know what placement, so whether it's in the news feed or on the sidebar or in mobile, led to the most conversions, and what that cost per conversion was, what country led to the most conversions, what age group led to the most conversions, what gender group led to the most conversions. The only way you could do this otherwise is if you created a whole bunch of different ads, and we're going to get to that later, a whole bunch of different ads to split test. But because of the new ad reports and conversion tracking, you combine those two things, one ad, you can break down what your cost per conversion was based on placement, based on country and age and gender. Powerful stuff that you can't do with your typical tracking links. So how does it work? Okay, so not going to get too much in the weeds on this, because if you're not familiar with this may be over your head. But first of all, I highly recommend you use Power Editor. If you're not, please start using it. It's a free Chrome plugin, and that's how I do everything. And it's a whole nother webinar about why you should use Power Editor. But anyway, so you create this offsite pixel, which is this code that Facebook gives you. And then you place that pixel within the success page. So thank you for your conversion, thank you for buying, etc. That is where that pixel needs to go between the head tags. Okay, it's not that complicated. I've actually done tutorials on this. And then when someone views your ad or clicks on your ad and goes to that landing page and buys or converts, a conversion is reported. Facebook's able to match up those who actually converted as a result of seeing or clicking on your ad and separating those people. So how do you set that up? Again, this is within Power Editor. You create a conversion pixel and you select any of these types of conversions that you want to optimize for. Once again, you want to make sure you name it something that you will remember. And you copy that pixel. So this is what it looks like. Probably doesn't mean much to many of you, but there's also this param value. That's where you determine what the value is of a conversion. Just a heads up there. And you paste it on your success page. And for me, I use WordPress. I also use Genesis Framework. And I've got this little box here that's within the admin side of my page to paste my tracking or conversion code. If you don't have this, there are a bunch of plugins out there. I think one specifically for conversion pixels, Facebook conversion pixels. So go ahead and add that. And then when you create your ad within Power Editor, you can say, I want to track conversions. And then you can select which pixel you want to use. So then in the end, what does it look like? This is the Facebook ad manager, okay? I'm looking at individual campaign, and it tells me how much I've spent, how many conversions I've gotten, also some video plays, because I was also optimizing for that, and the value of my conversion, so I quickly see my ROI. So the verdict on conversion tracking: if your ad's purpose is to get any type of conversion, you need to use conversion tracking. Whew. All right. How about another poll so I can get another quick drink? Are you using conversion specs? Are you kidding? Of course. Or you are speaking Greek. Okay. This is good. I like seeing this. So 14%, are you kidding? Of course. 86%, you are speaking Greek. So we're going to help you 86% out quite a bit here. The other 14, you guys are awesome. Stick around. Okay. Conversion specs, are you optimizing? So what are conversion specs? So when you use optimized CPM bidding, and I referred to this a little bit when we talked about conversion tracking, Facebook automatically optimizes for a specific action. So they show it to people most likely to perform your desired action, which means that CPM, I'm sure you've noticed when you do regular CPM or optimized CPM, optimized is always a little bit more, and that's per 1,000 impressions, but it's probably more efficient, okay? By default now, Facebook optimizes for page likes, post engagement, link clicks, depending on the ad, but they are making some guesses in terms of what you want to optimize for. So what though if you want something else? So let's say, for example, and I use Amy Porterfield as an example. She is the queen of this. She launches a webinar. She uploads a Facebook video, and then has a quick description. It says, click on this link to register for my webinar. And what Facebook would do, though, if you just go with the defaults, is optimize that for video play. Now, video play isn't a bad thing. You want that video play. But number one, you should probably have conversion tracking. But number two, what she really wants there is someone to click on that link. The video's nice, but click on that link. So you want to optimize for the link. And the same thing, a big one that comes up all the time, photos. I know a lot of people do this. They share a photo that has a quick description and a link attached to it. And they're like, it gets me all kinds of engagement. It's awesome. But how many people are clicking on the link? And if you promote it, Facebook is going to promote it to optimize for the engagement. And if you know anything about photos and the stats, engagement means any click anywhere. And photos have higher engagement just because there's more to click and there's more to do, but it's a lot of fluff engagement. What you really want in that case is the link click. So you probably want to optimize that and change it so you optimize it for the link click instead of the engagement. So why you should use them? Not all metrics are created equal. Don't trust Facebook to define your success, because that's basically what's happening. When you should use them? Sometimes you want engagement, sometimes you want a link click, sometimes you want a video play, but you should not trust the defaults. Okay, so how do we set this up? Once again, we're going to stick with Power Editor. Hope you're using it. Within that final step, when you're creating an ad, this is the pricing and status section. There are 4 steps to creating an ad. And it'll be set up as optimized CPM by default using default bids. And it's going to say use default conversion specs. And as you can see at the bottom here, it's optimized. Even though it's a bunch of code, it's pretty clear what that means. Action type, link click. Okay. And the object domain there, that is the post. That is the code for the post. So what you want to do is select manually set up conversion specs. And then when you do that, replace what that action was with the one you want to optimize for. And in this case, I threw in video play. However, what else can you do? It's you got to know what the precise code is, right? So here they are. What else can you optimize for? Bunch of stuff. It's app engagement, app install, app story, like, link, click. Most of these are pretty self-explanatory, but all worthy of your consideration. So what does it look like in the end? When you look at those, the ad manager when you're running your campaign, you're going to see stats that matter, not just regular old clicks. It's going to tell you if you're optimizing for link clicks, how many link clicks you're getting, and you're going to see cost per link click instead of something else that doesn't matter to you. So the verdict on conversion specs: measure the stuff that matters by optimizing for the stuff that matters. I think I just realized that I didn't show these results before. Okay. Let's go to the next poll. So are you using custom audiences? Yes, this is how I roll. No, but I have custom cabinets. I think we're bordering on corny on that one. Getting a lot of you voting too. This is awesome. Okay, good enough. This one is much closer to 50-50. This is a tool. It's been around for a while now. So if you haven't used it, it's time to get on board. But 46%, they are using it. You are using it, 54%. It's time to tell you how to use it and what it's all about. Okay, so custom audiences. What are they? You target your offline customers, so those who have bought for you or subscribed for your stuff or whatever away from Facebook. Target them in ads, regardless of whether they are your fans. So that's pretty powerful stuff. Why you should use them? There's really no better way to reach your paid and subscribed customers on Facebook. So again, I mean, I hear a lot about on Facebook, but I'm trying to I make this announcement to people who bought my stuff, but I don't know if they've all liked it, like my page. But you can reach them on Facebook, whether or not you've built that audience yet, through the use of custom audiences. The results. Now, most of this is still kind of dated. Unfortunately, I haven't seen anything updated. But this came from a TechCrunch article. They're seeing in the early days an increase of sign-up rate by 43%, decrease in cost per lead by 30%, 30% higher conversion rate was seen by OpenSky, which is an online retailer, and up to 5 times return on ad spend, is what Nanigans reported. So when should you use them? So these are a few examples I often use. So first of all, target customers who are non-fans. So let's say you're trying to build your fan base, and the first place to start, I always ask when you're trying to build that fan base, whether you're just getting started or you're just now focusing on it, is do you have an email list? Do you have a customer list? What you can do is, if you have an established customer list, you can target those people in Facebook ads. So you can target those people, but cut out those who are already fans. You can control that, and then create an ad that's tailored to them. Hey, I've seen you. Whatever. I mean, something that's not creepy. That that they know who you are, and say, hey, make sure you like my page, and maybe I'll give you a coupon or something. So that is very successful. These are people who have already proven to buy from you, so much more likely to like your page. A second one, this is one of my favorites. Okay, so let's say you had widget 1.0. Okay, and you got this customer list, segmented customer list of all these people who bought this awesome widget 1.0. Time has passed, it's time to upgrade. Widget 2.0 is coming out, it's awesome. And all these new features and everything else. And the first thing you're always going to do is send out an email, right, to let those people who purchased 1.0 know, hey, make sure it's time to upgrade now. 2.0 is out. But what you can also do, obviously, you're going to create a post on Facebook that's going to be blindly out to all your fans. But a lot of those people, it's not going to be all that relevant to them. They're like, oh, cool, widget 2.0, okay. But what you can do is create an ad on Facebook tailored to the people who have bought widget 2.0 to let them know it's time to upgrade. You bought this, it's time to upgrade to 2.0. Really, really cool. And then three, it's just a way to combine with your other marketing. So look, when you create an email, send it out, you're going to get maybe a 20% open rate. Even lower percentage of those people are going to click. Even lower still, those are going to convert. Now, those who didn't convert, that doesn't mean they're not going to buy or whatever it is. Um, it's always good to have a reminder. So yes, you should put out a Facebook post, an organic one. But as you know, it's only going to reach 10 to 16% of your fans or whatever. So that, but you also want to create a Facebook ad, and a really good thing to do is target your customers. So to combine that with your email, so you get them in multiple places to eventually get that sale and close that sale. So how does it work? You upload your customer list into Power Editor, and first of all, no privacy issues there. It's hashed out when it's uploaded into Power Editor. Facebook matches those addresses or whatever they are uh, to other hashed out accounts, and then so they match them up. And so like 20 to 60% or so of your list will end up being matched up to actual Facebook users. Okay, so know that unless you're uploading Facebook user IDs, if it's just email addresses or phone numbers, it's not going to reach everybody, or it's not going to, not all those people are going to be Facebook users. And then you can target those people in ads. So the types of customer lists that you can upload for custom audiences: email addresses, phone numbers, Facebook UIDs, Facebook app UIDs. So this would be if you have a Facebook app. All right, so how to set it up. Again, this is a little in the weeds. It's kind of hard to show in a webinar, but if you have Power Editor, you click on Audience on the left-hand side, then Create Audience, Custom Audience. Then you want to name it, describe it, make sure it's something that's really descriptive so you know in the future when you use this custom audience what it is. Upload and choose what the type is. Okay, and feel free to segment your lists. And this is a whole nother tool, but a really well segmented list they're awesome for creating lookalike audiences as well. Then you wait. It could take up to an hour or so, sometimes more, for Facebook to match up those users or those customers with actual Facebook users. And then when you create your ad, this is in that ad creation process. I believe it's in the audience section. You then simply add the audiences you want to target in your ad. So it could be your email list, those who have purchased a certain product. Whatever it is, you can add multiples if you want. You can also exclude audiences. So this would be a good example for if you're promoting a product, but you want to exclude those who have already bought it. Really pretty cool stuff. So the verdict on custom audiences: reach the people who matter most, those who have bought from you. Okay, we are cruising through this thing. Been about a half hour. Let's do another poll before we finish up. So are you using the new Facebook ad reports? Yes, they rock. Or no, I'm not even sure what the old reports were. Oh man, a lot of you are missing out. So we got 24% say yes, they rock, and 76% say no. Not even sure what they are, what the old ones were. Okay, so let's roll. Shedding light on what's actually happening with these new Facebook ad reports. So what are they? So Facebook provides a reporting interface that displays the performance of your ads. Now this is separate of the actual ads manager. Okay, there are reports. You can export them into Excel. You can schedule them, so your email, the reports, etc. But to be honest, like I didn't even use the other ones. They didn't provide really any new info. They were clunky to use. Just they were terrible. But they've been vastly improved to become a really powerful feature, powerful tool. So this is the old ad reports. And you hop into them. You're like, well, why even use this? It's a lot of work. It's just not really worth your time. Now the new ones. Here's an example. I hop right in, select one of my reports, and it automatically spits out website conversions, cost per website conversion, placement. I was referring to this before, but I can see what my cost per website conversion is according to not only the ad, but where it appeared. So it's newsfeed on desktop, newsfeed on mobile, right column, how much I spent. It's just insane what you can do with these. So why should you use them? First of all, you can view performance based on segment. So placement. So what is my cost per conversion or action, like, link click, whatever, based on whether it was in the news feed, in mobile, or on the sidebar. You can figure that out really quickly. It's often not what you expect. So this is why you should go out with a really broadly targeted ad and then find out what's working and what's not. Country. So you could target an ad at 6, 10, 20 different countries, and Facebook will then tell you what the cost per just about anything is, like, click, post engagement, whatever, link click, is per country. So you can see, because it's definitely different, absolutely different. And you can see where you're wasting money so you can optimize. Same thing with gender. Maybe you're doing a better job with men than women, especially if you're looking at something that you can adjust the copy or the imagery that can appeal to one of those groups. And the same thing with the age groups. Facebook splits it up between 18 to 24, I believe, 25 to 34, 34 to 40, or 35 to 44, 45 to 64, 65 plus, I believe. So all these things Facebook tells you just by creating one broadly targeted ad. In the past, you could figure these things out, but only if you created like dozens of ads and split tested. So this makes it infinitely easier for you. You can also view the performance based on actions. So I've referred to this a few times, but likes and cost per like, conversions and cost per conversion, engagement and cost per engagement. There's so many of these, and other than cost per conversion, these are all things you don't have to be optimizing for them. Facebook is still tracking them to show you these things. So how do you use them? First of all, hopefully you have them. Not everybody does, and I'm angry for you if you don't. But I do believe it's being fully rolled out, so you should be getting it. So within the ad manager, click on reports. Oh, and then, hold on. I think I might have to go back here. Okay, and then edit columns. So edit columns is the big feature. Okay, and data breakdowns. That's where you control placement and country, and so you can select any of these things to be a column within your report. My favorite part of these new ad reports. Then delivery and spend. Now I don't focus on a lot of this stuff except for frequency and spend. So I want to know how much I spent total, because otherwise, cost per action doesn't mean a whole lot if you spent 30 cents, right? Frequency I care about, because if I've hit the same people 30 times on something that isn't working, it's probably time to stop that ad. And then actions. So I even skipped over clicks because I just don't feel like most of that stuff is important in there. Actions are so things like page likes, page engagement, post likes, post comments. There's also offsite conversions in there. You got to scroll down and see all kinds of stuff. And then the cost per action, which is probably most important. Ultimately, you want to know what your cost per action is, whether it's for your ad itself, for the campaign, or for an individual segment. So the verdict: love the new ad reports. Learn what works and what doesn't. Spend money where it works. So that's it. But of course, just a second here. I'm going to get to your questions here in a minute. How to find me, johnloomer.com, facebook.com/johnloomerdigital. Hope you like my page already. At John Loomer on Twitter. John at johnloomer.com. So I've got a video blog as well. If you go to youtube.com/johnloomer. And social media pubcast. Hopefully you listen. It's a really relaxed weekly podcast called a pubcast because my guest and I will always have a beer or a drink of some kind. I considered having a drink today, but I didn't think that would be appropriate. So now, if any of this was confusing to you, you want help mastering these 4 tools, really excited to tell you about my new training program, FB Marketing Advanced University Power Editor. I don't know anything like it anywhere available where you can learn Power Editor, the power of Facebook advertising from start to finish. So it's still in progress. I've got 4 sections done. There'll be 5 sections total, 40 plus written lessons, over 4 hours of video. Goes from beginner to the most advanced topics. We even get into the ad reports, and it's completely self-serve. Now, this is funny because when I pre-launched this, I told everybody it's going to be it's half off if you prepay before this thing's even available. But as soon as it's available, it's going to be full price. That's the truth. But I've spent it's such a project. There's so many lessons in there. It's taking me a little bit longer than I expected. So it's only 4 of the sections are ready now of the 5. The 5th should be ready on Monday. So effective then, this thing's going to be full price, $147. Now, the silly thing about this is you can set up a one-on-one coaching call with me for 45 minutes, and that's $147. So there's only so much I can tell you in 45 minutes, but you can learn Power Editor from start to finish at your own pace for half that price. So that's my sales pitch. So where do you sign up? Go to johnloomer.com/training. And again, that's going to expire on Monday. All right. Whew. I'm tired. Ask me anything. I really kind of flew through that. Lots and lots of info, but I want to get to as many of your questions as I can. So just give me a moment here as I go through this. Okay, the first question. Hi, I have a question. I have 5 different newsfeed ads and 5 different campaigns. They're unpublished page posts. It's a whole nother feature, which I didn't even get to talk about today. If all the campaigns are the same targeting, does this increase my CPC? Am I bidding against myself? That's a good question. I hear it a lot. Now, the technical question is, yeah, a little bit. But look, there are thousands of advertisers bidding against you, trying to reach the same people in the same place. So might you be bidding against yourself and raising the price by a fraction of a penny? Yeah, probably, but it's not something that should control whether or not you're running those ads. Okay, thanks for the question. Okay, hang with me as I read through these questions and find the ones that work. It sounds like if you don't have the new ad reports, it's really sorry to hear that. In terms of getting them, you just like most of these rollouts, you just have to wait. Take a breather, John. All right, this is my breather right here. Okay, here's a really good question. So the optimize for an action, this would be with optimized CPM, the conversion specs. uses actions a particular user has taken in the past to determine who to show the ad to? That's an awesome question. And this is one of those things where Facebook doesn't tell us a whole lot, but we just have to make some educated guesses or assumptions on what happens. So we know, number one, that Facebook has optimized CPM and they optimize for a particular action. We know, number two, that it does cost more per thousand impressions when they do that, when they optimize reaching a particular audience. And we know, number three, that it is more efficient in almost all cases. So it's only more efficient if they're reaching the people who are actually truly going to perform that action. So my guess, and I think it's probably a good one, is that when you optimize for a link click, for example, it'll be based on several things. That on users' history of clicking on your links and on a user's history of clicking on links in general. And I think even a better one might be video plays. If a person has never clicked on a video before, they probably won't be shown that ad, or they're less likely to be shown it. So really, really good question. Okay, and I think I got to this too, but just to refresh, what would be the downside for tracking conversions in Google Analytics? So again, this is tracking how many conversions came as a result of your ads. This is great. This is the good in between of not tracking conversions or using the Facebook conversion tracking. What you don't get from Google is, in particular, placement of your ad. Okay, so what is the cost per conversion of my ad when it was in the sidebar as opposed to when it was in the news feed or in mobile devices, and even breaking it down by age breakdown and geography, and some of that you may be able to track with Google Analytics. But just the simplicity of it all, the new ad reports, combined with conversion tracking, is why I would do it that way. Oh, good question. Conversion are not just for last click, are they? How long does the tracking pixel stay on the user's computer? So Facebook, and I wasn't able to dig into this today because it was kind of in the weeds, but by default, when Facebook announces or reports a conversion, that is anyone who saw your ad and converted. So they were shown it, they were showing your ad and then converted within 24 hours, or clicked on your ad and converted within 28 days. So I don't know about you, but I think that's a little hazy. But you can control that within the ad reports and say, I only want to see, or you can break it down, how many people converted with after clicking within 1 day. Those are the people I feel like this ad 100% it led to a conversion. The others, it's not, I'm not saying it didn't contribute, but it's not 100% driver to converting. So that's a really good question, and it's important that people understand how Facebook defines a conversion. Um, so this is an interesting question. I only run Facebook ads Saturday 10 a.m. to Sunday 10 a.m. We are a church inviting people to our iCampus. Power Editor seems to only let me use it if it's an active ad, and since the ads are future scheduled, I cannot seem to use it. Is this correct? No. So you can create an ad in Power Editor just like you can create it anywhere else. Fortunately, weren't able to really go through the ad creation process here, but yes, you can create an ad, schedule a campaign into the future, so it only goes during a certain time, certain days, certain time. And really, to break it down, there are all kinds of benefits to using the Power Editor as opposed to the self-serve ad tool. And a lot of the features aren't available within the self-serve ad tool, but like a lot of stuff we talked about today, but like controlling the conversion specs and your optimization, the placement control, which it sounds like that's finally going to come to self-serve. But any of the new features come to Power Editor first, and the ads API, and just more control in general. Like whenever I hear about people hitting boosted post, don't do that, but promote it through Power Editor because you have full control over that thing. Okay, really good question. So say I create 10 different ads. I'd have to generate 10 conversion pixels and paste 10 snippets of code into the header of the success page. No. So all you do, you use the same pixel for all 10 of those ads, and Facebook will break it down in terms of which ad generated how many conversions. Okay. Are you Greek? No, no, I'm not Greek. I'm Welsh, if you want to get technical. Maybe missed it, but will the slides be available afterwards? Interested in the conversion code page showing the various names. Thanks. Yes. So, and I actually did this for my last webinar a few months ago. What I'm going to do is put it on SlideShare, so it'll have the actual video will go on YouTube, and then the video would also go into SlideShare along with this deck. So, stay tuned. You'll be emailed all that. Hey, all right. John, I just bought the Power Editor course. When will it be released? So be clear, it's available now. It's just the 4 sections that are available now. If you can access it through johnloomer.com. There's a link at the top for my Power Editor training course. If you hover over it, there's a link for member access. Take you straight there. You might have to log in, but 4 of the 5 are there. The only bonus is the bonus section that is missing right now, which is combines the ad reports with Power Editor. So thank you. Thank you. John, can you use purchased email lists to drive more traffic to product launch? This is one, when you create a custom audience, there are specific rules. There's a link in there. I encourage you to check that out. You can probably get away with it. I believe it violates the rules, however, because I'm 99% sure it has to be people who have opted in to receiving your stuff. Okay. So I'm sure people do it all the time. There's scraping services that do it. Um, Hopefully you have a conscience and you follow your gut on this one as far as what's right and what's not. But I would take a look at the official rules on that. But I'm pretty certain you're not supposed to do that. And more people haven't seen Facebook ad reports. That's too bad. Oh, good question. When using custom audiences, do the people you target know that their email has been used for this purpose? No. And that's kind of the beauty of all this advertising, right? So you and I, we see ads all the time in Facebook and everywhere else. We don't really know why we're seeing them. And so in some cases, it's because of retargeting, because you're on their website. And other reasons, like with partner categories, you're being targeted because of your purchase history and other things. And for other times it might just be because you're a male aged 25 to 44 who lives in the US. So no, they never know which, but to me, and I know that this is still something that people are trying to get used to, and there's still like a creepiness factor to it, but it all comes down to, would you rather have relevant ads or irrelevant ads? And they're going to be more relevant if these are people in businesses you're actually connected to. And no, there's no option for no ads. And we still have plenty of time, so I'll keep plowing through these. Anyway, to get the new ad reports, sorry, just wait. Wow, lots of people waiting for them. Oh, so I use Power Editor. I don't see where the report section is. Just to clarify, Power Editors for creating your ads. The ad reporting is within the Ad Manager. Um, so actually, like within your page, there should be a link in your admin panel for managing your ads. And so you go in there on the left-hand side, there's a link for reports. There is some reporting within Power Editor. I don't use it for that at all. It's terrible. I use Power Editor for the ad creation where it is awesome. Okay, Ben asks, I've enrolled on your FB Marketing Advanced University course. Should I have started already? It's up to you, Ben. It's self-serve, man. Start at your pace. You can start today, start tomorrow, start a month from now. But there are, as I said, like over 40 lessons. So all depends on what you want to do. And there will be email alerts once all this is done, where you can subscribe to getting an alert every day to direct you to the new lesson if you want to keep yourself on task. Oh man, still no ad reports. Oh, is there any point in even bothering to get to grips with the old reporting? I've tried, or should we just wait for the new one, assume it's being rolled out in the U.S. before crossing the pond? Yeah, don't even bother. Look, I didn't even touch it, and I might have by accident a few times. Um, yeah, you can get the info you need often without messing with it. I mean, you can. It's just there's so many things in the new reporting that's not in the old one. Like all the stuff I just mentioned in this webinar, not even in the old stuff. So, good question. For page like stories to get new fans, how many interests do you suggest using? One per ad to split test or multiples? That's one of those interesting questions because that's where you need to continue to split test, right? Because with placement and age and gender and country, you don't need to split test those things anymore. You can read the reports and optimize accordingly. Now with this, and I wrote, I wish I could send you the link right now. I don't have it in front of me. I wrote a post on, and it's within the last couple of weeks. So if you just go to my Facebook page, or excuse me, just go to my website, go to johnloomer.com, and it'll automatically pull up my recent posts. And there's going to be a post in there about how to my process, a secret process to getting more page likes. And it's a big part of that is using graph search and getting interests. Okay, so the pages that people like who are similar to who like your page and competitor's page, and the special interests of those who like your page and competitor's page. Check that out. That's what I use. I've had a ton of success getting likes using that as a jumping off point. And yeah, you should consider split testing it to see maybe there's certain interests that are more effective than others. That's really up to you and how much time you got. There's no true rule of thumb there. When optimizing in Power Editor, do you only pay for what you request to optimize? No, no. So understand that when you optimize in Power Editor, you're still paying per thousand impressions. So it's not like you're paying for each link click or for each photo view or whatever. You're still paying per thousand impressions. You're just paying. You're optimizing to reach the people most likely to perform that action. Okay, good question, John. Bought your program. Awesome, thank you. Going through it now. Two questions. What do you think about Quia, which is kind of like a Power Editor type tool? And do you need an email list to use these advanced ads options? So again, Quia, I haven't used that in a while, so I really can't speak much to it. I know that they do have a lot of bulk editing stuff that's pretty helpful. I believe it's a premium product. Not 100% sure, and I know Power Editor is completely free. So I really can't speak on that, but sure, certainly check it out if you're interested in a Power Editor alternative. And do you need an email list to use these advanced ads options? The only one you may need it for is the custom audiences. Um, but if you have a phone number list, that's fine, or a Facebook user ID list, that's fine. But otherwise, yeah, custom audience doesn't really work for you. Even if you have a small audience list to start with, you can use that to create a lookalike audience, which is a whole nother topic, but a pretty powerful tool in itself. What kind of results are you getting from mobile ads? It depends, right? So one thing I've seen is within mobile, page like sponsored stories work really well. Prices seem to be coming down. For whatever reason, there's not a lot of competition there, or maybe Facebook's just trying to get us advertising on mobile. So I do really well there. If you do any app installs, I've heard that does really really well. I mean that they take up a lot of space and they're really nicely done. And additionally, so what's really cool about mobile ads is like with Empower Editor, you can determine do I want to target just iOS devices or which iOS devices? Do I want to target just Android? Which ones? Even minimum version? It's kind of crazy. But the main thing I've figured out with mobile and with all placements is you gotta don't ever think you know it all because it's constantly changing. And one thing I've always just assumed, if I'm driving someone to a landing page to make kind of a complicated purchase, to just eliminate mobile entirely. But what we're seeing more and more is that you got to at least run the ad in the beginning and see what happens because you may be surprised. Still got a little bit of time. I'll answer whatever I can here. Um, ad reports, ad reports. I'm going to get a slice of pizza. Be right back. Hopefully you made it back. All right. What is the best way to get page likes, right hand side ad, or newsfeed ad? If it's a newsfeed ad, what type of ad? Um, there are two main types. And again, this post that I wrote before about the secret process to getting page likes, check that out. But in terms of type of ad, first of all, I constantly have a sponsored story, page like sponsored story running. Low level, but keep constant growth going every single day. So that's targeted at people who are friends of fans and and meet my demographic, has specific interests. Lots of success with that. You don't even have to worry about copy and imagery and whatnot. It's great. Um, and but beyond that, I like to create an ad that offers something of value in exchange for liking my page. So it drives them to a tab, Facebook tab, offering my free ebook in exchange for a like. So it's like gated. I use ShortStack for that. So those are the two ways. And in terms of placement, I'm using all placement for the most part. I mean, if I find something's working better than the other, great. But like I said, I mean, in general, I see that mobile works really well for page likes with page like sponsored stories. But I don't limit myself just to that because that's also kind of then limiting your audience and what page likes you're going to get. So I'm willing to pay a little bit more and continue to reach people in the news feed or even in the sidebar, which I still get some success out of because it is very cheap. And another person who's already purchased my Power Editor program. Awesome. Just wondering if you'll be sending this webinar to us when it's done. Yep, I'll be sending you a link with the screen. Excuse me, uh, the deck and the video itself. Oh, what's the best way to decide on what to bid for an ad? So understand this is only when you use CPM or CPC. You can't bid with optimized CPM. That's automated. So in general, though, when I do use CPM, I don't use CPC really. I've heard some people having success with that, but I think it's one of those things you have to be careful with. When I do use CPM, I tend to bid on the high end, so even above the range, because that's what you're going to pay up to. And then monitor your results, see if you're spending too much, see if you're getting enough rotation, enough distribution. You can lower it if necessary. Thanks for the webinar, John. Love your podcast. Have you ever tried Canada's Alexander Keith's beer? Little plug for them that we can't get in the U.S. No, unfortunately. Sorry. I try to drink a different beer every week on my podcast. I haven't had that one yet. So if anyone's got it, send it to me. Okay, how much coding knowledge do you need? Is that covered in the Power Editor course? You don't need really much at all. yes, this is covered in the Power Editor course. It's not like an introductory to coding or anything. It will tell you exactly what you need to do. So you don't code. You have to take the code that Facebook gives you and put it in a particular place. But yeah, I show you where it needs to go when that's necessary, which is rarely. It's just with um, with the conversion tracking, and there was something else too. Oh, domain sponsored stories too. But each case, you don't really need to know coding. But I do have step by step on how to do it. Is this going to be rebroadcasted, or are you going to send a link to review the web? So two things. Yes, as I said, it is being recorded, but I do have another episode later today at 8 p.m. Eastern. If you haven't signed up already, so there's a link what my website and the main menu for the Facebook ads webinar. That'll direct you to this one. But in the middle of the page, there's like, does this time not work for you? Go to this one. It's at 8 p.m. Eastern. And so you can register there as well. We're going to have a nice small group for that one. Do you have to upload Facebook UIDs individually, or is there some sort of bulk uploader? This is the same thing as email addresses and phone numbers. You just need a text document or CSV file that lists them all in one column, and they need to be valid. And that is that. Okay, so oh man, we had so many questions. I'm sorry if I did not get to yours. If you have anything important, feel free, whether it's about this or about my course, go ahead, send it to John at johnloomer.com. Find me on my Facebook page. Otherwise, thank you so much for being part of this webinar. Had a lot of fun. I hope you got something out of it too. Take care.